Um, Whether you're tuning in and listening to me for the first time or the 100th time, it does not matter to me. I much appreciate you guys tuning in and having to listen to anything I have to say. It really means the world to me, and I hope that I can help just one person. That's always been the goal of these streams. Is just if I can help one person, that's all that matters to me. It's an audience of one. It's for one person, God above. Just trying to help one person out there. So welcome. Thank you again. And so uh, I'm just continuing on with this little series I guess I've been doing of just reading out of my own personal journal here. Series that I actually wrote myself. And so this journal isn't something I journal every day in. This isn't something I go to all the time. I know there's people out there that journal every single day, and that's wonderful. I'm just not one of those people. So when I do come to this and I do write in this, it usually is pretty meaningful. It's usually something pretty big to me that means a lot to me because this isn't something I come to oftenly. So I've actually been pretty vulnerable during this series, reading through my own personal journal here. Again, just hopefully trying to knock down a doorway for one person out there and maybe show somebody that you're not alone. You don't. You're not the only person with that struggle of yours. We all have our struggles, and we all have similar struggles more than the enemy lets you think. So, I'm actually reading something I titled in my journal. I called it "In My Head," and it's about the battle between your mind and your heart, and what God tells you to do to win that battle. So, my first note that I made, I said, if you can attack the mind, then you can attack the body. And not a lot of people think about it, but the Bible verse that says, protect your heart, for all that you do flows from it, and above all, protect your heart. A lot of people forget that what it is telling you is like, this is a passageway. The way to get to your heart is through your mind. When it says to guard your heart, it's talking about guarding it with your mind. Your boundaries, knowing your limitations, knowing what tempts you, knowing how to steer away from things, knowing how to say no to things. It's all in the effort of protecting your heart. And if you're vulnerable in your mind, your mindset, what you see, what you look at, what you absorb, that is the way for the enemy to get to your heart and attack you on the inside on a deeper level. If you have the mind, then you control the body. The body is controlled by the mind. Obviously, your brain controls every function that you do. Me moving my arm, my brain is sending signals to that. So one of the most important things that you can protect is your mind, because your mind is the key to your body. And if the enemy controls your mind and your body, well, then the enemy controls your soul as well. It can dictate what you do. He can dictate what you see, who you hang out with, who you give yourself over to. And ultimately, he can control your demise. Maybe one of the toughest parts of our journey as Christians and believers in faith is understanding that our hearts can be our enemy as well. Our hearts are very deceitful. Our hearts are very flesh oriented. Our hearts usually desire things. A popular saying is the heart wants what the heart wants. That's just another way of saying the heart wants something, go give it to it. And that's usually always not a good thing for you. Your heart wants pizza. Your heart wants that dessert. Your heart wants those extra calories, and you know that it's not good for you, but you do it anyway because, hey, the heart wants what the heart wants. The heart is deceitful. The heart, if listened to alone, is going to steer you towards bad decisions in the wrong direction. And the filter that God gave us is our mind. That's why a lot of people through conversation, you find out they're so conflicted because like their mind wants one thing and says one thing, and their heart says another, and they're like, my heart says this, but my mind says this. And and oddly enough, the saying of the world is, well, follow your heart. Follow your heart. You know, whatever your heart wants, follow your heart. No. No, 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 no. I'm telling you, your heart will lead you down the bad path, the wrong path. The filter that God gave us is our mind. I know this might be a bad analogy, but I'm just thinking of a cigarette, right? A cigarette contains a ton of bad chemicals and tar, right? And on a cigarette, on the end is a filter. And that filter is there to reduce the amount of bad chemicals coming through into your lungs, right? To further push back the consequences of the decision of smoking the cigarette. Think of your mind as the filter. Your heart is those chemicals, those bad chemicals, and it is just wanting other bad chemicals, right? And so you need to filter those decisions, those things, those desires with your mind, and be able to say no and be able to walk away and filter those things out and keep them at an arm's reach from you. But a filter is only as good as you use it. If you take the filter off that cigarette and say, I don't need that, then obviously you're going to die very quickly. You're going to become tarnished very quickly. The same is with your heart. If you don't use your filter and you lean into those bad decisions, you lean into that pizza and that dessert and that sin and that flesh, your heart is going to grow black real fast. So filter your heart with your mind. Above all, our priority should be guarding this heart and making this filter as strong as we can humanly make it. I'm talking about your mindset. I'm talking about the ability to say no, the ability to stay in instead of going out, the ability to make wise decisions and wise choices that maybe your heart doesn't want, maybe you yourself don't want, but that your future self would thank you for. Everything is going to flow or try to flow into your heart, and you've got to stop and filter all the bad things out. So it's really important that you renew your mind. That's why it is so important that you just get in God's presence every single day, every single morning. Prayer, reading, studying, absorbing knowledge, studying characters in the Bible, studying stories, chapters, because that is renewing your mind for the day every single morning, preparing you for the situations that you're going to face, preparing you for just the day that you're about to walk into, the struggles you're about to face for that day. Every day has its struggles, and I promise you're going to face some at some point during that day. So the best thing you can do is just renew your mind every single morning. Clean that filter. Get it ready for the day. If you got an air purifier in your home, if you've got anything with a filter now these days, a lot of things have filters. You've got to change the filter, like the air filter in your house. You've got to change that regularly. You've got to clean it. You've got to replace it, because a bad filter is not a good filter. It's not doing anything for you. So cleaning your filter, renewing your mind every single day is obviously greatly going to help you in your daily battles. John 14:27 says, do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Again, just renewing your mind every single morning, not allowing any trouble to our hearts, renewing that mind every day, clearing that filter, cleaning it, replacing it every single day, having it ready for the troubles of the day. I wrote down here a quote that my pastor had said, and he said, I do not give you my peace as the world does. There is no peace I give to you that's on the internet. There is no peace that I give to you that is on social media. And there's no peace I give to you that comes through culture. You are not going to receive peace, God's peace, through the way of the world. It's not on the internet. Stop searching for it there. It's not on social media. Stop comparing yourself to people. Stop listening to people on social media. It is not there. These gurus, even these pastors, God, maybe even me. I mean, you're not going to find true peace listening to people on social media. This stream, Midnight Church itself, this is not going to give you peace. It might put you in the right direction, but it will not by itself give you peace. The Word of God will give you peace. That Bible over there I've got on the table, that is what will give you peace. This won't. Not the internet, not social media, finally not culture. Nothing the world tells you is going to bring you peace. Anything the world tells you that is not from God, don't freaking listen to it. It will not bring you peace. No medication, no pill, no meditation, no therapy. Nothing the world tells you this will help. It won't. That is the only thing that will help. That's it. When we're guarding our hearts, when we're cleaning our filter, when we're putting walls around our heart, it's very important to understand that when you do that, you have declared war on the enemy. Satan does not care about somebody who poses no threat. If you let the way of the world into your head, into your body, into your heart, you do not pose a threat against him. So why would he fight you? That's a very easy life to live. That's why it's easy. That's why following the way of the world and Satan is easy. You pose him no threat. So when you put up those walls, when you start filtering your mind, renewing your mind, using this to protect this, you have declared war on him. So it's important that you know you will get attacked. The enemy will come after you. He will send forces. That could look like anything. That could look like your best friend of 15 years all of a sudden acting different. That could be the internet roasting the crap out of you. Trust me, I've been there. It's okay. You just need to understand what you're going to be in line for. He will come after you. And it's important that you be prepared and you be ready for that. And don't be caught off guard when it does happen, because it will happen. I don't say that to scare you. I say that to be prepared, to warn you. Hey, this is what's going to occur. That's the whole point of that Bible over there, is God screaming at you. This is what will happen. Be prepared. So, be prepared. Renew that mind every day. Guard that heart every single day. And when you build a wall, don't be surprised when someone tries to take it down. Be ready to stand your ground. Stand firm and build that wall back up as much as you can. Stand firm and guard your heart, man. Obviously, I think it goes without saying that one of the biggest struggles we face in today's generation in this world is depression. Depression is a very highly debated topic, of course. Controversial topic, maybe. But what's not controversial is that more than ever, people struggle with it. More than any other time in history. And I think the biggest battle with depression is thinking that we have to eliminate it. If it's not gone, then we've lost. Being depressed a little bit is just a loss. It's not a win. And I think we're looking at it wrong. And I don't know, maybe this does help somebody, maybe it doesn't. But a pastor once told me that we don't need to eliminate depression. We just need to figure out how to keep it from staying so long. And that in itself, that little saying, that sentence he said to me really changed my perspective and my mindset about depression itself. And maybe it'll help you. I don't need to eliminate my depression. Everyone battles with depression. Everyone. It's not about eliminating it. It's just making sure and figuring out how to keep it from staying so long. Being depressed is not the problem. Being depressed for days, for weeks, for months, for years, that's the problem. Depression comes. It comes for all of us. It's a tool of the enemy, and he will bring it to your doorstep. It's figuring out, how do I keep this from lingering? How can I face it immediately and immediately make it leave? Immediately. I mean, like that, like minutes. Being able to sit down, face the fact, this is what makes me feel this way, and move past it. That's the struggle. That's the hard part. That's the challenge. And I think what a lot of people get hooked on is that I need this big solution to solve this big problem. You know, I've got this huge problem that's depression, and I need this huge cocktail of a solution to make it go away. And it couldn't be further from the truth, because another thing that my pastor told me was, sometimes you don't need a chapter. Sometimes you don't need this big fix-it tool, this big chapter of a solution. Sometimes all you need is one word. Just one word. What that word is, that's for you to figure out. For me, it was why. That was my word. That was my word that got me out of my depression. And that was the word that when I faced depression, when it came, when it hit me like a wave in a truck, I could say that one word. I could say why. And I could figure it out. I could work through it. I could get out of it, because my why was what kept me going. Now, there was a lot of weight behind that word why. When I would say that to myself, what's my why? It's my family. It's my parents. It's my siblings. It's my friends. It's my future wife. It's my future kids. That's my why. Why I need to tell this to get gone. Why I need to live another day. Why I don't need to let that break me. It's my why. That was my word. Why? You know, because when you're depressed, that's the question I would ask myself is why am I still here? Why am I still breathing? Why am I still living? I'm not worth anything. Why? Why God? Why this pain? Why this person? Why this? Why this situation? Why that? And it's amazing to me, looking back, that the same word that Satan used to cripple me and crush me is the same word that strengthened me and raised me up, and that I now use against him. And that's something that not a lot of people will realize, is the very tool that Satan pokes you with and tries to destroy you with. His sword is also your sword. You have the capability of flipping the roles and striking him with the very weapon that he handed you. It all starts with filtering your mind. It all starts with renewing your mind and guarding your heart and knowing what can come in and what can't. That's step one. Take step one and then stand your ground. Build that wall and stand your ground. Be ready for someone comes knocking on that wall. Be ready for it. Be looking and ready for a fight, because it's coming. And then find that word. Find that word that keeps you going. That keeps you here another day, another week, one day at a time, one win at a time, one small battle at a time. You can't worry about winning the war until you've won the battle of today. Win today. And just say that every single day. And before you know it, you've won the war. I love y'all. Thank you very much again for listening. Comment on the YouTube video. if you've got any questions at all, feel free. Please comment. I'd love to get back to you guys. Message me on Instagram if you've got anything. If you just want to talk. If you just need a friend. I'm here for you guys. I really am. Anybody who cares to hear anything I have to say, I'm there for you. Truly. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful night. Good night. God bless.